Welcome back to the channel, folks. Luna here with another King Arthur Legends Rise video. So that's one of my clan reached out today, kind of asking questions about, hey, you know, they're pretty new game. What are some champions that we're using in some of the dungeons and some of the power-up dungeons? So I figured I'd do a few videos on going through a few of those. But then I'm gonna start off with Aldri and the team I'm using there. So starting out with Alkaline, just because of getting that ore for this frozen plane. Going through between his A3 and his A1, Morgan's A2, Tyrion's A2 primarily, and then just trying to use the A3 and Arthur there, because that's his move that really smacks pretty good if you have that booked up. And then this is on level 10 if you missed that, so obviously this is not a speed run. Not fast in any means, but it still gets the job done, right? And we'll go over the builds later when we're done watching this or getting through this battle. But really, I don't need Alkaline, even in the team that I run typically, but I just don't mind it just for fun, right? Because we're there, you know, I beat it 20 seconds faster or 20 seconds slower. It's not the end of the world to me. So I don't mind just kind of using characters when I can, if it's not going to take much more time to do so. But really just relying on Alkaline to put on that recovery disruption, because we will not knock out this Aldri here before we reach that, I can't remember what turn it is, but where he actually goes to sleep, and obviously if you don't put that recovery disruption on him, then he will basically recover his health, and then you're just kind of starting all over. And I have run this through probably 3 or 4 times, and so far it's been 100%. At least those 3 or 4 times I've run this through. So I don't expect it to fail. And then when I look at their build stuff, you'll see that they obviously have some pretty good gear on Morgan, but other than that, for the rest of these champions, it's nothing really crazy. Just because it's not really needed, right? I mean, if you need to, you could pay the gold to switch your equipment from one champion to another champion, right? But that can get a little costly. Thankfully, it's nowhere near as bad as games like Raid Shadow Legends, because I played that game and good night, it's always silver broke, right? But come to here, it's like we're always gold broke, but definitely nowhere near as bad. Will kind of slow things down, obviously, if Arthur gets frozen like he just did here. But still, even though, you know, we're gonna, I want to say there's another time where Aldri puts on a really big smack too if you don't knock him out. I don't recall what that is. If you know, please, you know, drop the answer in the comments for me. But you can see we're taking some pretty big hits from him and his left and right feet. And we're still in good health, right? It's still getting good recovery from Tyrion there, and definitely need Morgan for that defense down and damage taken increase. And you see, I do have Morgan in her Storm Relic. I did have to purchase that in the shop. That is not something that I was able to pull, but you see here, Arthur here doing most of the damage, but Alkaline really just there for the recovery disruption. And now let's jump over and look at what we have for each of their builds. Going back here. One thing that is kind of a little annoying is just trying to go from one thing to another. A lot of times it has to just reload. Even just doesn't matter if I'm playing actively or not. But yeah, I got her in a vigor set and a defense set, mainly just because of the effect accuracy there. And then I have effect accuracy on the belt, obviously speed on the orb, and I got her in strife just because of when I use her in arena. Obviously that banner is not the greatest, but it's what I had for strife. Available, you see I got a crit rate, defense, endurance. I don't even know what endurance is. So if you know, please educate me. I should probably do my own homework, right? You see 280, definitely not fast. I would love to have her 300 plus speed. And I do have a different build I can put her in to make her that, but then she doesn't have nowhere near the effect accuracy. That's more what I would use for an arena build, not so much for PvE. Looking at Tyrion here, see she's in the life set and the vigor set, and looking at her pieces, flat HP again. You see nothing crazy, but it's what I had. Effect resistance, attack speed, and again I'm just using this just to have that immortal set, just to help her give her that barrier when she does do that heal. Excuse me. But yeah, you see total HP 34,000, almost 35,000. Attack speed 175 is actually pretty slow. But again, you know, just to try to save money, not trying to mull around the base gear that I have. Looking at Arthur here, I got him an attack and a critical set. Do have him a nice attack ring, crit damage, attack percentage. I see there, I don't even have him in 6-star, I don't even have all this gear fully leveled up. And then looking at, you see some of these substats, I don't have double rolls with speed or nothing. And then basically he's just in a hodgepodge of, say, his belt and stuff, just because it's what I had. Hit accuracy, obviously I'd like to, hey, there's attack speed there. Right, let's go ahead and slap it on there, why not, right? Just to make him a little bit faster there. And put on a little bit better boots with some more speed. You got it available, might as well, right? You can see here, total stats, nothing crazy. Definitely nothing crazy on the attack or the speed. And then looking at Akalon here, you can see obviously nothing impressive, just off his attack, his defense, and HP that you saw there. I do have him in a accuracy set, excuse me, and vigor, mainly because I want to land that recovery disruption. Let's see what I have. I guess I can put him in a little bit better accuracy necklace there, just to get a little bit more damage. Maybe speed up just a little bit. Because like I said, I do use him on my normal team just because I can. Not that he's actually needed. Obviously, like a Brennan would be better, but why not take advantage of the champions that you have, right? Attack speed. Let's see, what else we got? So that attack speed, hit accuracy. You see nothing too crazy on the build here. Well, I guess I'll put that effect accuracy on him, and let's try to level it up a little bit. Just in case, right? Because you don't want, especially if you're running a team like this, is for that not to land. Especially since I'm not taking advantage of Morgan's A3, which can also land that recovery disruption. See total stats here, nothing too crazy, right? Not a lot of attack, not a lot of HP. But now that we're done with Aldri, I want to go over here, jump into the Burning Lands, and show you the team that I got here. And you see I'm primarily using, going between the A3 and the A1 for Anguish here, A3 and A1 for Rosier, and again, going between the heals on Isolde there, and then just using A2 there for Jarrett. Again, this is level 10 here. We'll go over the builds too when we're done. Again, this is not a speed run, right? This is just a run to try to help those who are kind of newer to the game or don't have all the champions available yet. And I know you're saying, hey, well, you got some of this great gear already, some of this bigger set, especially with Morgan. You know, I don't have them, I'm not working with that. And I get that, right? And I will also put out a video within the next few days, kind of going over like a more free to play team to use for both YSK and Nessa Vipalia. That way you can get those materials to then make that vigor set, because that's kind of what I did using these champions with some of the at the lower levels, right, when I didn't have the good equipment, just going through and then slowly getting that better equipment, also going to the craft or crafting more equipment, right, once I got those materials, and then also taking advantage of those change stats. So you see here, not too bad, right, considering using all rares and one uncommon. You can see damage dealt, most that's coming from Rosier, and I do have basically all these characters actually were level 10, which is pretty easy to do, especially as a new player, because If you join more recently than I did, there's a lot more perks and stuff. You have access to a lot more summon tickets and stuff to pull a lot more champions. So we'll go and take a look at the gear that we're running on these champions. And again, you look at these champions just like it was with the team for Aldri, nothing too crazy, pretty standard stuff. Then obviously I don't have the nice vigor sets on everybody. That's why I was going back and forth between those A3s and A1s, just to kind of get back on people's skills because of not having that vigor. So looking at Rosier here, you can see nothing too crazy on the attack. Do have our attack set. Attack percentage, crit damage, attack speed on the ring. Again, I don't even have fully awakened to really take advantage of that corrosion set. One day I will eventually do so, just because being a completionist, I would like to have everyone fully awakened, all their relics fully awakened, right? But still, since I'm still just kind of progressing through, just kind of upgrading what I need with the champions I need just to kind of further my progress, mainly through my progress and Hall of Conquerors. You see here total stats, nothing crazy, only 213 speed. Going over here to Anguish, again, you see the attack, defense, HP there, nothing crazy. Do have an attack and critical set just because of the gear I had. I did want him in effect accuracy, since I'm kind of lacking that in some of his other equipment. You can see I don't have them fully awakened yet either, and just kind of have them at different pieces of gear just to kind of get the much speed as I can. But yeah, you see only 176 total speed, only 44% on the accuracy there, but he still gets the job done. So nice to have them in there for that aura for Burning Lands. As sold, you can see she's not even 30,000 HP. Do have a vigor life set, and you see recovery on the ring, nothing crazy. I guess I could go and level that up. It wasn't even leveled up. HP percentage, 8 defense, just because, you know, would like to actually have that HP percentage, but I have more of the better vigor gear on some of my other champions like Nika, for example. And again, don't have everything fully leveled up here. I don't have her fully awakened, so I don't have a full set available. If I did, I probably would have an immortal set just because of getting that barrier once she does a heal. You see total stats here, nothing too crazy. Most of these champions don't even reach over 200 speed that I'm using. And Jared, obviously, it is beneficial to have a Frost Relic, but I just have my life in the Vigor set. You see nothing crazy on the Vigor set here. Mainly just to help the other team out, the other members on the team to use their A3s. And you can see pretty standard basic stuff on, look at this. I'm at a 1-star actual belt. I'll just slap that on real quick. Again, focus, part of a focus piece just because I had it from crafting gear several weeks ago. Total stats you see there, nothing too crazy again here as well. And so this is basically the two teams I'm using between Aldri and Gorgos. Tomorrow I'll try to get a video out where I'm going over the other two power-up dungeons, which will be, well, what can I think? It'd be Pinvid, and then also, what's that fire cat? I cannot think of his
5
name.
hours later.
Taras, is it Taras? Or am I just, maybe I'm just going crazy. Shroud of Storm, yeah, Tarask, sorry. Man, I can't think. So tomorrow I'll try to go in and release a guide on kind of free-to-play friendly characters to use for those dungeons as well. And again, those are primarily, those will be either champions you get just playing a game, for example, like Morgan and I can't think of his name, Tristan. Good night. Can't think today. Tristan as well. And again, I do have, we'll talk more about their build and stuff in that video. And then after that video, I think the next one I'll work on is going through the Nest of Apalia and the YSK, because there's not a lot of, like, for example, the Nest of Apalia. A lot of that gear you probably won't use, but it is, I do recommend farming that dungeon just to get those materials to then craft those bigger sets. And then obviously complete your daily tasks and stuff to get access to that changing powder that you can go in and try to get, whether you need more effect accuracy or attack speed, whatever it is that you need. for those substats for those pieces of gear. I would love if they would actually go in and add, whether it's just part of a dungeon or just part of rewards from completing a previous dungeon, not a previous dungeon, but a dungeon that already exists, rather, where you can actually change the main stat. I think that would be great to be able to change that main stat. Whether if it's only maybe you only change it once or maybe you only change it twice. It doesn't even have to be something you can change every single time like the substats. I do think that's great that you can change the substats like you can to try to get that attack speed on that double roll, for example. But I think it would be great to be able to go in and change that main stat. Because once you do get to, for example, clearing those other dungeons, like even Padrag or Padarj, rather, I always say that wrong, and the Fortress of Arsalis. I'm butchering all these names tonight, forgive me. I mean, feel free to roast me in the comments there. But once you do get to that level 10, I believe you cannot get 4-star gear. You only get 5 and 6-star gear, which they changed that recently, which was great. However, yeah, you will get that 5 or 6-star gear, but it doesn't mean you don't get what you want, right? It seems more often than not that I'm getting those flat stats I don't really want or need. However, yeah, like I said previously on this video, I did play Raid for a while, and I will tell you the quantity of good gear, or for example, you may spend 10,000 energy, for example, in Raid and only get like 1 or 2 pieces of good gear. Or if you got 1 or 2 that you want to try to roll up in that system, right? And then you go through all your resources for that, and then you basically end up with the stuff that you didn't want in the first place. So, but anyways, still having loads of fun with this game. Thanks again for sticking through this video, and please like and subscribe. Y'all have a blessed day. Thanks. Bye.